is a sport that's been born in the Southern Hemisphere. It started off in South Africa, moved to Australia. It's nice and warm there, and it's not quite nice and warm here. But I think the whole thing is that the British culture and all the sports that we do, we're used to this, and therefore why not bring a sport? We've got the equipment, it's not cold, we've got things that will keep people warm, and it is so phenomenal that when people are out there, cold, forget it, it is fantastic.
Awesome, breathtaking, stupendous, phenomenal, difficult to believe. Just a few different ways of saying fantastic. And a pretty fair description of the first ever Zapcat Championship. Round 1, final lap. Well, that's the view they see. So Brown is now third, and he might even struggle to hold on to that, because here comes Lister again. Glenn Julius almost lying flat in the boat to generate the extra yard or two an hour that could put them on the podium. That's the view Peter Lister gets, and pretty much all that he can see. Brown keeping the marks tight, giving nothing away, making Lister work. Oh, he's going through, but Glenn Julius leaves his post. He's out of the boat, and the boat has gone over. And look at this, last corner, Middleton flashing across from the left, forces Swift over the buoy and takes the win from nowhere. An unforgettable final 200 metres, not bad for starters. Breathing new life, bringing back the crowds and the entertainment to British beaches. The Zapcat Championship makes a spectacular entrance.
That was fantastic. That was so close. It was unbelievable. In the beginning, I didn't think I was going to get it. It was just manoeuvring. Oh my good boy.
Heavy seas bring about the cancellation of round 2. So on to Bournemouth for round 3. Sea conditions are still lively, and there's no let-up in the frenetic action. Standard boats and engines guarantee there'll never be more than a few metres between first and last. It's a three-way battle with just over 1 lap to go, and Robert Lister can wait no longer. That's a daring, even risky stab at race leader Andy Mahon. But richly rewarding, he takes the lead with less than a lap to go. Each crew must compete over 4 heats. The top 6 progress to the final. And here, as in round 1 at Southsea, there's hardly any time to catch your breath, whether you're in the boat or simply watching from the shore. The W-shaped 1,000-metre course runs right along the edge of the beach, and with 7 tight turns, close contact is guaranteed. Robert Lister in first place makes himself a bit of a breathing space, but there's no let-up for Andy Mahon. Peter Lister sticking his nose in on the final bend at the beach turn, back towards the right-hander that takes him to the finish line, and he makes it stick. That's a very good win indeed for Robert Lister, but what a magnificent second place for Peter Lister. It's Lister 1-2 in the 3rd round of the championship. The overall points are almost as tight as the racing itself. With 400 points for a win, no one can relax in the top 7. The Shepton Mallet Showground is the next venue hatched up by promoters Ribs UK, as they continue to establish Zapcat Racing as the extreme, but not too extreme thing to be doing these days. The Bacardi Breezer Lake is certainly different, but what sort of racing problems will arise in this unusual environment?
The greatest difference, I think, is that it's an extremely short course. We're probably looking at about half the distance to what we had at Bournemouth.
It's like a track with water, really. There's only 4 boats racing out here this time rather than 6, so it's going to be a close-knit thing. One part of the course, only 2 boats can go round at a time, so it's going to be really good fun, but a hell of a lot different than out on the sea, that's for sure.
The event is a huge success, and a packed house enjoy another afternoon of crazy rough and tumble before number 5, Martin Wilcox and Sarah Burrell, in their first race together incidentally, become the 3rd different winners in the 3 championship rounds so far. There's no place in the final for overnight leaders Middleton and Clover. While they lose ground, the rest close in. Round 4 and back to Bournemouth. The sun still refuses to shine on the bright new championship, but there's plenty of hot action around to keep everyone warm. It's the penultimate round, and again sea conditions are lively, but none of the title issues are settled. Martin Wilcox's late bid for honours ends prematurely when his engine fails, and the race is stopped to remove the stricken craft from the racing line. With Middleton and Clover also having another average day, the stage is set for Peter Lister, Andy Mahon and Robert Lister to each stake a championship claim. It might have gone either way until Mahon's decision to park on Middleton's co-driver. That effectively left the other 2 with a free run to the finish line. During the final shootout, Peter Lister's greater offshore experience over son Robert pays off, and he will go into the season's final bash at the top of the leaderboard, and still on speaking terms. The prospect of a great payoff to year 1. Peter Lister has to finish in the top 3, Robert Lister has to win. But all the drama will be turned into controversy. After a poor start in their 3rd heat in the sunshine at the final at Southsea, Robert Lister and co-driver Nick Quinton find themselves in last place, and in the following 8 minutes produced arguably the best drive of the season. From last place to 1st to book a slot in the final. Or so they thought. The judges took a different view. Lister and Quinton are summoned and disqualified.
Rob, you've been disqualified on Q2 level for taking out boat 11.
Absolutely no chance. No way. We put in a brace. For one, the start. When we went over the start, he threw him out the boat. It's over us.
But far from discrediting the sport, the situation actually typifies the healthy and competitive attitude of Zapcat Racing. And although many will argue that Lister and Quinton were robbed in this instance, they take the decision on the chin and miss the final. It means Peter Lister now only has to finish in the final to lift the trophy, and leaves Brian Middleton to end the season where he began it, first over the line. So this is how it all finished up. Peter Lister and Glenn Julius with the gold, Middleton and Sullivan with the silver, and Robert Lister with the bronze.
Both said to me at the beginning of the season you were there to make the numbers up, so where did the plot go wrong?
I don't know, it's all his fault. He keeps stamping on the feet saying going faster.
It's called a competitive edge.
Oh dear, we just can't stop once you get going. Silly things.
Great fun, brilliant fun. Anybody who's watching should say, let's have a go at that, because it's a,
Mind
it's a sport that everybody should have a go at, and it doesn't matter how old you are, does it really?
Well, you'll both be back then, I gather.
Absolutely.
I think we might be. We've got a new boat coming in 2 weeks' time, so we'll be practicing all over the winter.
Yeah. Are we?
Yes.
Oh.
Zapcats, a brand new name for a great new idea. More fun than you could ever imagine. And all set for a long run around the UK and across Europe.